Pete, I'm actually going to ask you questions because I want to hear your answer. How many genders are there? Tough one.
Senator, there are 2 genders.
I know that well. I'm a she-he, so I'm on board.
Wait, he actually is a Okay, that was really good. God damn, that was really good. Wow.
Senator, there are 2 genders.
I know that well. I'm a she-he, so I'm on board.
I don't get it. Read his name.
What is the diameter of the rifle round fired out of an M4A1 rifle?
That's a 5.56.
Yep.
How many push-ups can
I knew that one, by the way. I played PUBG.
you do?
I did 5 sets of 47 this morning.
Damn.
What do you think our most important strategic base is in the Pacific?
In the Pacific, Guam is pretty strategically significant.
How many rounds of 5.56 can you fit into the magazine of an M4 rifle?
30, right?
Depends on the magazine, but standard issue is 30. Senator.
PUBG.
And what size round does the M9 Beretta standard issue sidearm for the military fire?
A 9mm, Senator.
What kind of batteries do you put in your night vision goggle?
Duracell.
So right there, you're representing qualifications.
Man. Oh boy, easy questions. Yeah, it's like I knew a lot of these, man.
In other words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. But you're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll be the one, let us just be clear, in charge of the generals.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. No, General. Yeah, wow. And do you want to know what's really funny about this? Do you remember what I said about how in school, when I didn't know the answer to a question, I would tell a joke? Remember that? And everybody would laugh and they'd move on. I do think that it's problematic that people that are in the military immediately go into defense contracting. I think it's problematic. I think it's a perpetuation of the military-industrial complex. I don't think it's a good thing. Perfect fucking deflect is exactly what I was talking about.
I'd like to submit for the record signatures by 32 members of the House of Representatives who are veterans. The signatures call on the Senate to honor the constitutional duty of advise and consent by conducting a fair, thorough confirmation process that evaluates his nomination solely on the substance. And
somebody also brought up a really good point, and this is you articulated it much better than I did. Your hygiene, not that message. If generals know at the end of their career they can just go to private arms companies, then they can help those companies while at their job as a general. Exactly. Completely agree.
Merits. His distinguished military service, academic credentials, and a bold vision for revitalizing the national defense. I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record.
Without objection.
There's a lot of talk going about talking about qualifications and then about us hiring him if we are the board. But there's a lot of senators here I wouldn't have on my board because there is no qualifications except your age, and you got to be living in the state and you're a citizen of the United States to be a senator. Other than the fact we got to convince a lot of people to vote for us. And then when we start talking about qualifications for if you're qualified for it, could the chairman tell me what the qualifications are for the Secretary of Defense? Mr. Chairman, could you tell me what the qualifications are for the Secretary of Defense?
I'd be happy
I'll read it.
For you to do.
He got it ready.
Let me read it for you because I Googled
I was getting some advice from my second in command.
Yeah, but I'm just making a point because there's a lot about qualifications, and I think it's so hypocritical of senators, especially on the other side of the aisle, be talking about his qualifications, not being able to lead the secretary or be the Secretary of Defense, and yet your qualifications aren't any better. You guys aren't any more qualified to be the senator than I'm qualified to be the senator, except we're lucky enough to be here. But let me read you what the qualifications of the Secretary of Defense is, because I Googled it, and went through a lot of different sites, and really it's hard to see. But in general, the U.S. Secretary of Defense position is filled by a civilian. That's it. If you have served in the U.S. Army Forces and have been in the service for, you have to be retired for at least 7 years.
You want to know the reason why they're pushing back on this guy? Is that there's a chance that I think that he's probably not like one of the guys that's part of the inside group, and maybe he's not old enough to where, you know, they're going to have him be part of that inside group yet. I think that's probably the real reason. Good? Yeah, no, I like him for sure.
Congress can weigh that. And then there's questions that the senator from Massachusetts brought up about serving on a board inside the military industry, and yet your own secretary that you all voted for, Secretary of Austin, we had to vote on a waiver because he stepped off the board of Raytheon. But I guess that's okay because that's a Democrat.
This is some fucking Metal Gear Solid plotline shit. This is the reason why those games were so popular. It's because everybody knows this is bullshit. Everybody knows it's bullshit. Obviously, it's bullshit. What is this?
Secretary of Defense. But you so quickly forget about that. And then Senator Kaine, or I guess I better use the senator from Virginia, starts bringing up the fact that what if you showed up drunk to your job? How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? Have any of you guys asked them to step down and resign from their job?
He's just saying it. Oh my God.
And don't tell me you haven't seen it, because I know you have. And how many senators do you know have got a divorce before cheating on their wives? Did you ask them to step down?
Yeah.
No. But it's for show. You guys make sure you make a big show and point out the hypocrisy because the man's made a mistake. And you want to sit there and say that he's not qualified? Give me a joke. I mean, it is so ridiculous that you guys hold yourself as this higher standard and you forget you got a big plank in your eye. We've all made mistakes. I've made mistakes. And Jennifer, thank you for loving him through that mistake. Because the only reason why I'm here and not in prison is because my wife loved me too.
Oh boy.
I have changed, but I'm not perfect. But I found somebody that thought I was perfect. And for whatever reason, you love Pete, and I don't know why. But just like our Lord and Savior forgave me, my wife's had to forgive me more than once too, and I'm sure you've had to forgive him too. And so thank you. So before I go down this rabbit hole again, tell me something about your wife that you love.
This definitely is fluffing. They're totally trying to build this guy up. Absolutely.
She's the smartest, most capable, loving, humble, honest person I've ever met. In addition to being incredibly beautiful.
Okay.
Don't forget about your kids.
I'm supposed to talk about my kids?
No, well, she's also the mother.
Oh, an amazing mother.
Yes.
Of our blended family of 7
Brother,
kids.
I'm pulling you along. I'm trying to help you here. You know, do you believe that you're going to be running the Secretary or the Department of Defense by yourself?
Senator, absolutely not. Just as President Trump is assembling his cabinet, I look forward and already am in the process of building one of the best possible teams you can imagine, with decades and decades of experience outside of the Pentagon, driving innovation.
Is this a state-sponsored sitcom? I want you to keep in mind that he's not even in office yet. This is like the commercial for before the show starts. This is the opening act. It's not even the opening act. This is the trailer. This is a teaser. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, this is going to be crazy for 4 years. And the thing is that if it's entertaining enough, it'll be for 8 years.
Excellence and also inside the building, knowing how to make it happen. Yes, sir.
So, in your organizations that you did have the privilege of running, did you have a board that you?
In both organizations, we had a board. Yes.
Okay, and what did you do with that board? What kind of decisions did you make with them?
Those boards provided oversight and insight into decision-making.
They all have special, unique sets that maybe filled gaps that you're not the expertise in?
Can someone explain to an EU tard what's going on? So this guy is they're trying to make this guy in charge of our military. And a lot of people, like, so if you want to look at, if you ask, I'd say if you interviewed 100 people and you say, what does the government waste a lot of money on? They're either going to say poor people's welfare or the military. And I think that most of them would say the military. I think that there's a consensus that a lot of people have that the military is where we waste a lot of our money. And so people see this guy coming in who's like a relative, you know, obviously not an outsider, but like a relative outsider as like somebody who could potentially shake up that hegemony. And so that's the reason why people are favorable towards him. It's hard to say whether that's true or not. I don't really know. But that's basically what's going on.
Yes, sir.
So do you believe you're capable of surrounding yourself with capable individuals that you're going to be able to run those same ideas by and surround yourself with people that are smarter and better equipped in maybe areas that you don't necessarily carry those expertise with?
Senator, the only reason I've had success in life, to include my wonderful wife, is because of people more capable around me and having the self-confidence to empower them and say, hey, run with the ball, run with the football.
That's what I do with my raids. I have them do everything. I don't do anything.
Take it down the field. Yeah. We'll do this together. I don't care who gets the credit. And in this case, that's how the Pentagon will be run.
Let's end with this, Mr. Chairman, about the qualifications. You got a man who has literally put his butt on the line. He served 20 years in the service, multiple deployments.
It's a long time.
Has heard the bullets crack over the top of his head. Has been willing to go into combat. Been willing to see friends die for this country. And he's willing to still put himself through this. His wife is willing to still stand beside him, knowing he wasn't perfect, knowing that all this was going to be brought up, and he's still willing to serve the country. What other qualifications does he need?
Oh, boy, here we go. And so I think they're going to bring this guy in. I do think so.
Have you led an audit of any organization? Yes or no? I don't want a long answer. Yes or no? Have you led an audit of any organization of which you were in charge?
Senator, in both of the organizations I ran, we were always completely fiscally responsible.
Yes or no? Did you lead an audit?
And the way
yes or no? Did you lead an audit? Yes or no?
What
are you afraid of? You can't answer this question. Yes or no? Did you lead an audit? Do you not know this answer?
Senator, every part of my leadership of these organizations has been misrepresented.
I will take that as a no. What were the findings? So there were no findings because you've never led an audit. What guidance did you give the auditors? None, because you've never led an audit. Nobody expects you to be an accountant, Mr. Hegseth. What we expect is for you to understand the complexity of this Pentagon budget process that is absolutely necessary to outfit our warfighters.
Man.
Have you led an...
Jesus, kind of a stupid question. Every organization gets audited? Yeah, obviously it does. Yeah, of course.
To take over Greenland, or would you use our military to take over Greenland or an ally of Denmark?
Senator, one of the things that President Trump is so good at is never strategically tipping his hand. And so I would never in this public forum give one way or another direct what orders the president would give me in any context.
That sounds to me that you would contemplate carrying out such an order to basically invade Greenland.
What? Damn, really? That's crazy. Wow. Okay. Huh? She trying so hard. Yeah, this is the way, bro, this is the I like pancakes so you hate waffles shit. Man.
Completely cleared. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife and cheat on the mother of a child that had been born 2 months before, and you tell us you are completely cleared. How is
Senator-
that a complete clear?
Senator, her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth, and she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
And she
I'm
was,
glad
and
she's here.
you cheated on the mother of that child less than 2 months after that daughter was born, didn't you?
Those were false charges.
Well,
It was
no,
fully investigated, and I was completely cleared. And I
Completely.
Man. Oh, boy. Who cares at the Joker? I'm not sure. Let me see if there's any more of these.
Do you know that being drunk at work is prohibited for service members under the UCMJ?
Senator, those
Yes
are
or no?
multiple false anonymous reports peddled by NBC
Do you
News
know that
run directly
drinking on the job
contradictory to
is
the dozens of men and women at
not
Fox News.
contemplated?
Is she drunk right now? Is that how she knows?
On it.
Yeah.
Who I work with
I'm not
came
hearing
on
the
the
answer to my
record
question.
and said they
In your
never
opening
seen
statement,
that.
Mr. Hegseth, do you know that being drunk at work is prohibited for service members under the UCMJ?
Oh, God. Do you speak from experience? Yeah, I guess so. Oh, God. Let me see if there's any more of these that are good. Veterans Rally Capital. There's this.
Big audience here. Many of them seem to be patriotic supporters of you, Mr. Hegseth. Some of them seem to be liberal critics of you. I would note that it's only the liberal critics that have disrupted this hearing. As was my custom during the Biden administration, I want to give you a chance to respond to what they said about you. I think the first one accused you of being a Christian Zionist. I'm not really sure why that is a bad thing. I'm a Christian. I'm a Zionist. Zionism is that the Jewish people deserve a homeland in the ancient Holy Land where they've lived since the dawn of history. Do you consider yourself a Christian Zionist?
Senator, I'm a Christian, and I robustly support the state of Israel and its existential defense, and the way America comes alongside them is their great ally.
Thank you. Because another protester, and I think this one was a member of Code Pink, which, by the way, is a Chinese Communist front group these days, said that you support Israel's war in Gaza. I support Israel's existential war in Gaza. I assume, like me and President Trump, you support that war as well, don't you?
Senator, I do. I support Israel destroying and killing every last member of Hamas.
And the
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Jesus. Yeah, he's going in on it. Insane take. Yeah, no, they're going in. And, wow. Let's see if I can find the rest of these. Women should serve. Oh, here we go.
And I would point out, I've never disparaged women serving in the military.
We've got the video, we've got it in print. So going back to January 2013, you told a Fox News interviewer that women in the military simply couldn't measure up to men in the military, saying that allowing women to serve in combat roles would force the military to lower the bar. You picked up on that same theme in 2015, making remarks on Fox News, referring to women in combat as, quote, it would erode standards. June 2024, you said on Ben Shapiro's podcast, quote, women shouldn't be in combat at all. And then, of course, we've talked about it in 2024. You published a book, and you said...
Is she... yeah? Is this like a gotcha? I don't understand this.
On page 26 of your book, we need moms, but not in the military, especially in combat units.
This PC bullshit, I think
Page
it is
48 of your book, you claim that women should not be in combat roles because men are distracted by women. And then 10 weeks ago, you appeared on the Sean Ryan show and said, I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles.
I love how this is the clip and it doesn't even give his response. And she's posting this as if this is not a popular opinion, as if this is some kind of like, oh, I gotcha. See, remember when you said this bad thing? Yeah, I would assume that a lot of people agree with that. It's not even a question. It is actually, yeah. Where's the rest of the clip? I haven't seen it. Yeah, they turned it off. He changed his view, though. I'd have to look and see. Even most women don't want to fight? I don't know. I want to see what he replied. Well, they didn't show that. I guarantee your private security is 100% composed of big, beefy men and no women. Well, I mean, if you have a gun, it's not really that big of a difference. But, like, you have to carry somebody out of, like, a battle. Like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you have to lower this, like, this is the way I see it, right? Is that if women can meet the same standards, it's okay. But if you have to lower the standards to make it to where women can join, I think that's a bad thing. That's the way I see it. So, like, theoretically, if there's a woman who can meet the standard, then it's fine. But if the solution to having women involved is to lower the standards, then you're putting everybody at risk. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, how do you not think like that? It's logic. Yeah, it's just that's logical. Now, I think like women being a distraction in combat, like, I mean, it's like it's like kind of politically incorrect thing to say, right? It's like I think part of that's true, but it's also the fault of the men. So it's like, how do you handle that? It's very hard to say. But like overall, yeah, if you have to lower standards for that, then it's a mistake. Our brains work? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, Asmongold combat either. They didn't lower standards for women. They lowered standards due to lack of people signing up. So men and women have to meet the same standards to pass the military? Like for pull-ups and stuff like that? Do they have to do the exact same? Right, so women have lower standards. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so yeah, it's bad. Okay. Yeah, they have lower standards. Yeah, all right, well, there it is. Really simple, like, wow. Literal, like... How do you not think like this? I don't get it, man. Not even half? Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, this is interesting, but I don't think there's, like, too many good clips about this, unfortunately. I'll go ahead and I'll look at the rest of it, but that's it. Retards run the country? Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that, like, everybody can agree, like, you know, having somebody in, like, a nurse role or something like that, or, like, a secondary role is not that big of a deal. But if you have, like, a combat role where you need to have, like, a certain level of physical capability, then if you don't meet that standard, it doesn't matter what the reason is. You're just simply not there, right? I mean, that's it. Yeah, support staff is fine. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, it's not personal. It's not about, I have the same viewpoint with, like, fat cops. Like, if you're a fat cop and you can't pass, like, some physical test, then you need to fucking, like, go on leave until you can. Like, it's the same exact thing. Like, I don't think there's any difference between the two things at all.